Fenrir, the giant wolf destined to kill Odin. Visuals of majestic Norse landscapes fill the screen, towering snow-capped mountains, dense, ancient forests shrouded in mist, and the shimmering aurora borealis painting the night sky with ethereal colors. Mythological symbols and ancient runes fade in and out. A haunting melody plays, gradually building in intensity as the camera pans over these epic scenes. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel where we dive into the wildest myths and legends from around the world. Today, I've got a real treat for you. Imagine a creature so massive and powerful that even the gods were scared stiff. Yep, we're talking about Fenrir, the giant wolf destined to take down Odin himself during Ragnarok. So grab a snack, get comfy, and let's journey into this epic tale from Norse mythology. The origins of Fenrir. Alright, let's set the stage. In the vast tapestry of Norse mythology, Loki stands out as one of the most intriguing figures. He's the god of mischief, a shapeshifter, and, let's be honest, the ultimate troublemaker. But did you know he was also a family man? Well, sort of. Loki hooked up with a giantess named Angerboda, whose name fittingly means, the one who brings grief. Together, they had three rather unique children. First up, there's Jormungandr, the Midgard serpent so enormous that he encircles the entire world, biting his own tail. Then there's Hel, who was appointed the ruler of the realm of the dead. And finally, our main star, Fenrir, the colossal wolf with a destiny intertwined with the fate of the gods. Now, when the gods of Asgard caught wind of Loki's offspring, they weren't exactly throwing a baby shower. Prophecies foretold that these children would spell doom for the gods, particularly that Fenrir would one day kill Odin during Ragnarok, the cataclysmic end of the world. Understandably freaked out, the gods decided they needed to keep an eye on these kiddos. They tossed Jormungandr into the ocean surrounding Midgard and sent Hel down to rule over the dead. But Fenrir was a bit different. They decided to raise him among themselves in Asgard, perhaps hoping they could control or even change his fate. But here's the kicker. Fenrir didn't stay small and cute for long. He grew, and boy, did he grow. Every day, he got bigger and stronger, to the point where feeding him became a dangerous task, even for the gods. They started to realize that maybe keeping a giant, prophesied to destroy the world wolf in their backyard wasn't the smartest idea. The binding of Fenrir. So, the gods hatched a plan. They figured if they could bind Fenrir, they might prevent the dreaded prophecy from coming true. But they couldn't just say, "Hey Fenrir, mind if we tie you up forever?" That would have been a short conversation. Their first attempt involved crafting a massive chain called lading. They approached Fenrir with a friendly challenge. "Hey buddy, we've got this super strong chain here. Bet you can't break it." Fenrir, full of confidence, agreed to give it a shot. He let them bind him, flexed his mighty muscles, and, snap. The chain shattered like it was made of straw. Not ones to give up, the gods forged an even stronger chain named Dromi. "Alright Fenrir, this one's tougher. Think you're still up for it?" they asked. Fenrir, perhaps sensing their desperation but also enjoying the game, agreed. Once again, he allowed himself to be bound. And once again, he broke free, though this time it took a bit more effort. Now the gods were starting to sweat. Conventional methods weren't cutting it. They needed something special, so they turned to the dwarves, the master craftsmen of the Norse world. These weren't your average dwarves. They were magical beings with skills beyond imagination. The dwarves crafted Gleipnir, a ribbon-like binding that was deceptively thin but incredibly strong. And get this, it was made from 6 impossible ingredients: the sound of a cat's footsteps, the beard of a woman, the roots of a mountain, the sinews of a bear, the breath of a fish, and the spittle of a bird. Kinda makes you wonder how they even collected these things, right? Armed with Gleipnir, the gods went back to Fenrir. Trying to act casual, they said, "Hey Fenrir, one last challenge. This ribbon may look flimsy, but it's tougher than it appears. Wanna test your strength?" But Fenrir sensed something was off. This thin ribbon? Stronger than massive chains? He wasn't buying it, so he laid down his terms. "I'll let you bind me, but only if one of you places your hand in my mouth as a pledge of good faith." The gods glanced at each other nervously. No one was keen on becoming a snack. Finally, Tyr, the god of war and justice, stepped forward. Brave or maybe a little crazy, he placed his hand in Fenrir's mouth. As soon as Fenrir was bound with Gleipnir, he struggled to break free. But no matter how hard he tried, the ribbon held tight. Realizing he'd been tricked, Fenrir bit down, severing Tyr's hand. It was a grim sacrifice, but the gods saw it as necessary. Fenrir was finally restrained, or so they thought. Fenrir's imprisonment and hatred. With Fenrir bound, the gods weren't taking any chances. They dragged him to a remote island called Lyngvi, in the middle of a lake surrounded by dark waters. To further ensure he couldn't wreak havoc, they drove a sword into his jaws to keep them pried open. Talk about overkill. Imagine being in Fenrir's paws for a moment. Betrayed by those who raised you, bound by a magical ribbon, silenced by a sword. It's no wonder he was fuming. His howls of anger echoed across the realms, and drool poured from his mouth, forming the river Van, which ironically means hope. Fenrir's imprisonment wasn't just physical, it was also emotional. The god's betrayal fueled a deep hatred within him, a burning desire for revenge that only grew stronger over time. The stage was set for an epic reckoning. The onset of Ragnarok. Time passed, and ominous signs began to appear signaling the approach of Ragnarok. First came Fimbulwinter, an unrelenting winter that lasted 3 whole years without a single summer. Crops failed, food became scarce, and desperation spread among humans and gods alike. Then there were the moral decays, brothers fighting brothers, families torn apart, and chaos reigning supreme. The very fabric of society was unraveling. Amidst this turmoil, Fenrir's bonds began to weaken. The earth shook, mountains crumbled, and the sun and moon were swallowed by his sons, Skoll and Hati, plunging the world into darkness. With a final, mighty effort, Fenrir snapped Gleipnir. The unbreakable ribbon had finally met its match. Free at last, Fenrir was a sight to behold. His upper jaw reached the sky, his lower jaw scraped the ground, and flames burst from his eyes and nostrils. He charged forth with a single purpose: to fulfill his destiny. The deaths of Fenrir and Odin. The battlefield of Ragnarok was nothing short of epic. Gods, giants, and all manner of creatures clashed in a fight that would determine the fate of all existence. Odin, the All-Father, armed with his Speargingnir and riding his 8-legged horse Sleipnir, sought out Fenrir. Despite his wisdom and foresight, Odin knew he couldn't escape fate, but he wasn't going down without a fight. The confrontation was intense. Odin hurled his spear, but Fenrir dodged with surprising agility for a creature his size. With a leap, Fenrir attacked, and in a moment that seemed to stretch on forever, he devoured Odin whole. The prophecy was fulfilled, but the story doesn't end there. Fenrir, Odin's silent and stoic son, stepped forward. Known as the god of vengeance, he had been preparing for this very moment. Fenrir wore a special shoe crafted from the accumulated scraps of leather that people discarded, a detail so important that Norse folks would toss their leftover shoe leather in hopes it would aid the gods. Using this mighty shoe, Fenrir stepped into Fenrir's lower jaw, holding it open. With his hands, he grabbed the wolf's upper jaw and, summoning all his strength, tore Fenrir's mouth apart, killing him. It was a brutal and fitting end to their deadly feud. Interpretations and symbolism. So, what's the takeaway from all this gnarly action? First off, Fenrir embodies the unstoppable forces of chaos and nature. No matter how the gods tried to control or contain him, fate had other plans. It's a reminder that some things are beyond our control, no matter how powerful we think we are. The story also delves deep into the concept of destiny. The Norse believed that fate was set and even the gods couldn't change it. In trying to prevent the prophecy, the gods actually set the events in motion that led to their own downfall, a classic example of a self-fulfilling prophecy. Then there's the theme of trust and betrayal. Fenrir was raised among the gods, but they never truly accepted him. Their fear led them to deceive and imprison him, which only fueled his desire for revenge. It's a cautionary tale about the consequences of our actions and how they can come back to bite us, sometimes literally. Lastly, Tyr's sacrifice highlights the cost of honor and duty. He knew the risk but chose to put himself in harm's way for the greater good. It's a stark contrast to the other gods' deceit and shows that sometimes, personal sacrifice is necessary to uphold justice. Fenrir in modern culture. Believe it or not, Fenrir's legend didn't fade away with the Viking Age. He's made quite a splash in modern times across various forms of media. In literature, authors have drawn inspiration from Fenrir's story to create compelling characters and plotlines. For instance, in Rick Riordan's Magnus Chase series, Fenrir plays a significant role, introducing Norse myths to a new generation of readers. Artists have been equally fascinated. From traditional paintings to digital art, Fenrir is often depicted as a massive, fearsome wolf, sometimes with chains breaking around him, symbolizing defiance and raw power. When it comes to film and TV, Fenrir or Fenrir-like creatures have appeared in shows like Vikings, and even in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Remember Fenris Wolf in Thor: Ragnarok. These adaptations bring his story to life in new and exciting ways. Video games are where Fenrir really shines. Titles like God of War, Smite, and Assassin's Creed Valhalla feature Fenrir as a formidable foe or a significant character, allowing players to engage directly with the legend. Even in anime and manga, Fenrir pops up as characters inspired by his mythos, showcasing his global influence. It's clear that Fenrir's tale continues to resonate, serving as a source of inspiration and exploration in our modern storytelling. And there you have it, the epic saga of Fenrir, the giant wolf destined to kill Odin. From his mysterious origins and the gods' desperate attempts to change fate, to his central role in the cataclysmic events of Ragnarok, Fenrir's story is as thrilling as it is profound. So, what lessons can we draw from this ancient myth? Perhaps it's a reminder of the futility of trying to control the uncontrollable. Maybe it's about the dangers of acting out of fear and the consequences that can arise from betraying those we don't understand. Fenrir's tale also highlights the timeless themes of destiny, honor, and the complex relationships between beings of great power. These are concepts that still hold relevance today, inviting us to reflect on our own lives and societies. I hope you enjoyed this deep dive into one of Norse mythology's most captivating stories. If you did, please give the video a thumbs up, it really helps the channel grow. And don't forget to share it with anyone else who loves a good mythological adventure. I'd love to hear your thoughts on Fenrir. Do you see him as a villain, a victim, or perhaps a bit of both? Maybe you have your own interpretations of what his story means. Drop a comment below, and let's get the conversation started. If you're new here, be sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you won't miss out on any future videos. We've got plenty more myths, legends, and fascinating tales to explore together. Thanks for watching, and until next time, keep wondering, keep exploring, and keep the spirit of adventure alive. Take care. Teaser for next video. Curious about what happens after Ragnarok? Or perhaps you want to delve into the mysteries of other mythological creatures? Stay tuned for our next video where we'll uncover the secrets of the Norse goddesses and explore tales of magic and intrigue you won't want to miss. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss out.